Dobbo and Kevie preview round 10 women in league round. Mother's Day as well. Huge weekend. I'm going to say to all the women in league, thank you. To our mums, past and present, thank you. We are so grateful. Sisters,
brothers, exes,
ones you've had it without kids, you know, all of them, encompassing all women. Thank you. Yeah. We got a huge preview. Couple of things. Origin. Side gets named in 2 weeks. Now, when you've got an Origin legend who's coached and won Origin series, we want to give you a chance to go to the Origin.
The Brisbane Origin, Dobbo.
Yeah,
this is
game 1, 28th. It's here. We're looking forward to it. So what we're going to do is watch this space. Next week, you have to watch our show for all the details. But all I'm going to say is start getting your teams put together. Start working out what your Origin team is, and you could win tickets to the game. We'll give you the details next week, all right? But somebody will be going with their best mate or their girlfriend or their wife or their child or their mum to the Origin on Kevie and myself. Well, mainly Kevie because he's got connections. I've got no connections at all. Big news. Let's start with it. We'll get to the teams and we'll get to the... I'm going to start with it. Ezra Mam. I can't believe that he hasn't been named. No. I'm frankly annoyed. And Kev, from a fan's perspective, yesterday on Rush Hour they went feral at me because I defended. I cannot believe it. But I'll tell you what about this kid. He made a mistake. He's been punished in the courts.
He has.
He's been humiliated publicly by everybody.
$100,000 fine from the Broncos.
$100,000 fine. Plus, there's a civil case that's going on which is going to see him pay the victims, and rightly so. He has worked as a labourer. He has had 9 weeks out of the game. He has lost sponsors. You name it. He made a mistake. He's fronted the media. He said he's sorry. He's done everything he possibly can.
Rehab courses.
He went to rehab. He went to the Banyans for 4 weeks. Up there with the...
So he's paid his price.
Right, with the Limpkins. Ruth Limpkin does a great job at the Banyans. He was at the Banyans. Why wouldn't he be in the side? He's playing at South Logan Magpies this week against the Western Clydesdale. They put a cricket score on the poor old Clydesdales.
Yeah, but that also just draws attention to Ezra, Dobbo, by playing him.
Would you have played him?
I'd have picked him in the 6-jumper, rolled him out. The Broncos have lost 3 of their last 4 games. Ben Hunt goes to 9, Billy Walters...
Onto the bench?
Onto the bench, or Corey Pakes, one of those two. Problem solved, mate. And some of the noise coming out of the Broncos is that, his timing's not ready and, defensively, well, hello, they've got 32 on against him on the weekend.
Yeah.
And if I know Ezra Mam, and I do know Ezra Mam, I know that he would be ready to go. Mate, I threw him a jersey 3 hours out in his debut. I told him 3 hours before the game that he's playing against the Knights. He got man of the match. Scored 2 tries. This is a 19, 20-year-old kid. That was 3 years ago. And how far has he come? He'd be ready to play, mate.
Oh, he's ready to play. I've watched him at training and semi-opposed. And the thing that people don't realise is training is like, it's almost match simulation at least twice a week. There's so many injuries come out of it. Yep. He has been getting whacked week after week as the opposition 5'8", and the last 3 weeks, Michael Maguire has had him literally playing at 6. You would have heard this. So it's the timing and the combinations. And you know what? The captain pushed for him to get in there.
Right.
He understands the decision, but the captain wanted him in there.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen. So he'll play for South Logan Magpies. I don't get the decision. They'll beat South. But gee whiz.
Well, if they don't beat South, that creates...
I spoke to Uncle Wayne today.
Well, he's got a pretty good side there.
He reckons they're going to be ready. He said, I'm building the football club here again. I'm rebuilding the football club. He's back on that talk again.
Right.
So,
well, I know he was angry after last week.
Well, you told me this. So I said to him, I heard you weren't happy in the press conference. He said, no, I wasn't. And I said, normally you don't show any emotion. He said, no, it was very evident that I was upset.
It was classic Wayne.
Really?
Yeah, and so much so that I nearly texted him after it and said, mate, that's the best press conference you've done all year. Now, I'm not even associated with the club. But if you're a part of that club, if you're a player and you watch that press conference, you're on notice, mate.
How does his tooth look?
Oh, it was fine. He didn't smile, so he didn't see his teeth. He was pretty cranky. Not cranky, but it's how you would expect Wayne. I've seen Wayne like that so many times after a game. But his message was very clear to the players. Hey, take some ownership of this jersey. We pay you as a first grader. You play like a first grader.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, don't play. Don't roll into training. Don't pretend that you're an NRL player. You know, and it's a great, simple message. And you know what it does? It puts pressure back on the players. The onus is on them. That's what one of the journalists yelled out to him. Can you motivate them, Wayne? How do you motivate them? And he said, no, I can't. He said, I can't motivate you. How am I going to motivate you? And whoever the media, I don't know. He said, well, it's up to the players, mate. And he's 100% right. But that message will go straight back through the playing group. And he's blown the team up. He's moved players around.
Keon's in the middle.
Dropped the captain.
Yeah, Totola was the captain last week. He's been dropped. And so anyway, okay, there is a bit of mail round over the last 24 hours. The great, we've got to get Buzz on. We've got to get Buzz on here at some point. I mean, one of the great journalists, he's believing, and his mails comes direct from the Roosters, that Brandon Smith will be there.
Right.
Spoken to Wayne.
Soon.
Can't confirm it. Can't deny it.
Right.
He said it might have happened. He doesn't know, but he thinks like they want him. They definitely want him sooner rather than later. So, you know, with Mamazoulis out.
How long is he out for? Dislocated elbow.
Yeah, I think it's
months.
Yeah, so I think you'll see Brandon Smith there. They need him there.
But he's not available just now anyway, is he?
He's got another 4 or 5 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks,
yeah,
right.
But, I mean, if he's there culturally, they can get him going.
Yeah. Well, he can also play as a middle forward, can't he? I mean, I heard Cameron Smith say that his best position is middle 14 jumper, middle forward, comes on, brings the energy, brings the punch, plays for 20, 30 minutes, get him off.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk the biggest issue is you and I. Now,
hang on.
No. We've got to get this before we do our preview. I'm still reeling on Sunday's efforts.
Well, I was under a bit of pressure.
So to give everybody a bit of an idea, we're in business together. Now, we did do Dead Set Legends together in 2013, and we've been close ever since. His first ever call as a co-commentator on Triple M.
You were there.
I called the game, yeah. We've had a long history. I did your first interview when you finally got the coach. Spoke to you the night. Unfortunately, I had a broken neck. You got sacked. We've been through a lot. I put that bloody fence up at your house. Me, Gordy, and Milks.
Yes, I remember.
You know, bloody oath. I remember it.
I got some photos.
Yeah,
we'll put them up.
We
were leaning on the shovel.
We actually should put the photos up of building his fence that day. Anyway. So I go and see you. I hadn't seen you all weekend. I've been hearing, I kept on getting wonderful comments about how well you're going. I'm like, I told you, he's a good commentator. So you would think when you catch up with your business partner, you say, g'day, mate.
I said g'day.
You treated me like a stray dog. Get away. Hunted me like a stray dog. Did I not come up to you and I gave you a little jab in the ribs and said, hello, little Kevie? And you said, get away. I'm trying to prepare here. I've got to do something.
Mate, I had to do a live cross from the middle of the
field.
Not
a live cross. Shock a live cross.
Cross from the middle of the field.
Yes.
Talking up the game ahead. Titans.
And how'd you go? I saw you out there.
It was brilliant, mate. I don't want to try and be Gus Gould or anyone.
Well, you were very good, mate. I actually texted you people and said, what was Kevie's like? Me personally, after the way you treated me like the stray mongrel dog, I was hoping I was hoping you started on your
our podcast. There were millions of people watching.
Hundreds of millions watching. Are we right though?
We're fine, mate.
Tony Chalmers, the great TC, said to me, "Geez, Kevie's off you. I thought you two were in business together." I'm like, mate, I don't know what happened.
I will admit I was a bit prickly, right?
Thank you. Darcy's finally admitted that.
I apologise if I. But
I'm still reeling.
First of all, you whacked me in the kidney. I'm like, who's this bloke? Turns around big Dobbo with a smile.
Right, I'll tell you one thing you do need. You need to get a new tailor as well. That suit,
you better go.
That suit is rotten.
That was a Peter Jackson suit.
That's a dreadful suit. I'm sorry. Get just a normal navy suit. What's this grey pinstripe?
Stripes, mate. You got to get with it, mate.
No,
so you live in Ipswich.
Yeah. In the nation's capital. We've got class out there. Yeah. Hey, let's get into the round preview.
Lowe's store out there. That's where you get yours. Oh, I better not say that either.
Yeah.
Take that out.
I like Lowe's. Love Lowe's.
I do too, mate.
Working man, mate. Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. We've got a lot to get through. Women in league round. Starts with the Titans. Starts with the Dolphins tonight. Oh, boy. They take on Parramatta.
You reckon they're in trouble, Dobbo?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And look, every time I've said they're in trouble, they have proven me wrong. Look, they get Donahue back. They get Felice back. So that strengthens them up. And Molo's better for the run. So that's good. Finifuiaki and Lemuelu and Gilbert's a good pack.
Good pack. Well,
The
what are you worried
defence is
about?
their issue, and the benches,
They're
mate.
leaking a few
Ray
points.
Stone, the GOAT, Josh Kerr and Sean O'Sullivan. I think, to me, that the bench is it. I think Parra going better than we thought. Mitchell Moses, they played a Shark side that was red hot last week.
They were pretty good at Magic weekend, in the Magic round.
Who are you
Eels.
tipping?
Look, just because Origin's getting closer, I'm going to tip the Dolphins in a tight one. Surely they can get up for it. They've been in not so good a form, but in patches, like a couple of teams, in patches they play some really good footy, and then they drop away.
Well, they won 3.
You know,
They lost the last 2. Canberra Gavin put in the cleaners, and then they got absolutely schooled. And I don't care what anybody says. The Roosters, mate, they smoked them. Like, they were unbelievable. All right, you're going Dolphins.
in a tight win.
I'm going Eels. First game, Knights-Titans, McDonald Jones Stadium. Knights are favourites, and rightly so. Jaden Campbell comes back into the halves with Brimson.
Yep. No
Strengthens
Fafita?
him. No, well, he's gone, mate. Fafita won't play for the Titans again, I don't think.
You know, this puzzles me with Fafita, right? Because I'm a Fafita fan. I like what he
Try to get him back.
I like what he brings to a footy team in the right environment. And I'm not saying it's the wrong environment down there at the Titans, but I looked at his numbers. I've got some like a numbers thing that I refer back to help with players and just supporting what I see. And he's only had the 2 starts in the back row for the Titans, and he's in the top, according to my numbers and my stats, which go on run meters, tackles, errors, penalties, everything in the game gets put into an algorithm and it spits out a number, right? So David Fafita's number for the 2 games that he started in the back row is in the top 4 back rowers in the competition. Having said that, do you know who the number 1 ranked player was?
No, Bo Firma.
Bo Firma.
Right. And he plays on the right, and Fafita wants to play on the right. Fafita played at Ipswich on the weekend. And I'll tell you the text I got. This is dead set. I'm not going to name him, but I got a text from a person there. And he was
someone who is a rugby league
very
person.
Yep, and who knows the game well. And he said his exact words: Fafita will be spending a long time in trust after this effort.
Right.
Hopeless. He was a passenger there. That is somebody.
Right. So you think that he's just they're going to?
He's got an ankle injury. One of them will go.
No.
One will go. It'll either be Des or it'll be Fafita.
Well, we know who's going to win that fight.
Don't rule out Des leaving at the end of the year.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well, I'm just telling you now. Things aren't rosy at the Titans.
Anyway,
Who are you tipping?
The Titans beat them in round 3, the Knights. And the Knights went going 26-6.
The Knights win this every day of the week, and you know it.
Oh, yeah. Jaden Campbell's back, but is that enough? Look, I'm going to stick with the Queensland teams, Dobbo. Surely they can turn it around. And the Knights, they beat South. 9 players out. You know, Ponga was good.
Best. Marzu. Frizzell.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
Fletcher, he got?
Fletcher Sharp.
He got 3 tries.
3 tries.
On his birthday.
21. Come on, mate.
What's your best ever birthday present? We probably shouldn't go there. We'll keep it clean.
I can tell you it was good.
But that was a pretty good birthday.
It was a great
present.
birthday. It was my 40th.
Okay, I'm going to go the Titans. I'm going to bank. We're getting close to Origin. I'm backing the Queensland team. So right back. Come on, Herbie Farnworth. Pick up your act, mate. Hammer, get going. Jade, Nicarima, get going, mate.
Right.
Cody.
What about Broncos? What about Broncos South? That's the second game.
Broncos South. Oh, Broncos will win this one. I know that Souths have juggled their team around. Wayne's been pretty smart with his team this week, from what I can see, and moved a few positions around. I think Souths will be better.
Going to tip Bronx?
Mitchell's back at fullback. From when he got suspended, didn't he? So, yeah, I like the Bronx. I think they'll get the job done, Dobbo. I think it'll be a bit of a scratchy old game, but they'll get the job done.
Yep, I agree. It's an interesting scenario. I'm going to say this now because I looked at it last night. The Broncos are sitting exactly where they were positioned at last year. After 10 weeks, they are exactly as many wins and losses. Now, the difference is this weekend, you played the Roosters last year. Roosters put 50 on you.
No, they didn't put 50.
40. And Adam Reynolds snapped
when he did
Adam his bicep. And that's
yeah.
when the season changed. You lost your halfback, your playmaker.
Yep.
They go to South Sydney this weekend.
Well, they should have a gun playmaker coming in, but they've elected not to.
Yeah. Why are they so inconsistent at the moment? 3 of their last 4, you just mentioned that a little earlier, they've lost. What's going on? What are you seeing?
Well, there's a couple of reasons for mine. And being that good, hard, consistent football team, it takes a lot. And we've seen, not defending the Broncos, but this year, so many teams. From our great teams, Penrith, like over the last 4 or 5 years, the best 2 teams have been Penrith and the Storm. Right?
Yeah.
They're struggling. At different times, they've struggled. Penrith are sitting in 14th or 15th position, right? So they're struggling this year. The Storm, I haven't seen the Storm so inconsistent in a long time. Like, the Dolphins put 40 on them, which is so uncharacteristic of the Storm. So I think the competition's getting harder. I think the talent's a bit more spread out. But Brisbane's talent, for what they have on their books, they should be sitting higher than 5th. They should have won more games.
Okay.
Right.
What do they need to do tomorrow night to beat South Sydney? If you're coaching them and you've coached them, what would be your tactics tomorrow night?
Stay on your game plan.
What's your game plan for them?
Game plan against South? Keep it simple, mate. Kick to the corners. Defend well. Don't worry about the points. Broncos got points in them. Although they didn't last week because they went off track. They went off, and I spoke about Billy Walters. Billy Walters needs to take some control here as well as the 9. And if it's not quite working out with your 6 and 7 with Hunty and Renault, well, mate, have a little look in your little bag of tricks and pull something out. You know, that's what they need to do. And they need to fix up their interchange.
Oh, their interchange. They had one change, and Michael Maguire has absolutely admitted that. They had one change by half time. I don't know. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how you have one interchange by half time. Penrith that had 4.
But that was a fast, physical
and they were gassed. They were gone. By half time, they were gone.
I know those players better than
most.
Anyone. Better than anyone. So I've worked with them the last 4 years. And so he'll fix that up, right? But that was certainly a problem for them. They fix that up. That's going to help.
Straight attack. These blokes going sideways.
Well, that's Renault's job, mate. Renault and there you two. Renault and Ben Hunt.
You got to whip them into the line.
Take some control, right? Reece Walsh is not there. Everyone's saying, Broncos are so much better without Reece Walsh. Well, are they? I don't think so, Dobbo. Cobbo's a great player, great fullback, but doesn't bring what Walsh brings.
Well, the results are speaking that way, yeah.
And he's not back for another month. So they're so fortunate, the Broncos, to have a player like Selwyn Cobbo. He could play Origin at fullback, Selwyn, and not look out of place. He's that good a player, but he brings a different perspective to the Broncos and to their attack to what Reece Walsh does. Now, Cobbo, for mine, needs to become more involved in attack. I know he's running for 200 metres, but in the good ball zone stuff. And he's such a big, strong athlete. They need to come up with a couple of plays to get him involved. That's for mine. And defensively,
that first 25 minutes was very good defensively, but it was
that was good. But you're going to expect that, but you have to.
So what they need to do is
plan B.
No, they need to make some
plan
changes.
A wasn't working.
Yeah.
What's your plan B, boys?
Yeah. Good.
They need a plan B. Their plan B should be bring Cobbo into. If it's not working through the middle, get Cobbo involved. Get him out the back of shape. Get him up short sides. Big strong fella, Cobbo.
Yeah.
Big strong fella. And they scored one. The only try they scored was from a
kick.
Yep. And Renault was a bit off. He admitted that.
Had a bad game.
A couple out in the full. We've all kicked them. Right, the late great Peter Jackson used to pride himself on kicking out in the full. He loved it. He said, I've done another one, Kev. I said, don't worry about it, mate. It's not like we haven't seen it before. But, Renault's one of the best tactical kickers in the game. Yeah. And if he's a bit off, throw the ball to the other side to Benny Hunt.
Let him go.
Yeah, he kicked a 40-20 this year. So, and those two, their combination has been a bit off, hasn't it?
Just a bit.
The last couple of weeks. And
could have bailed Ezra back in and let it go. Anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, he did that at the back end of the game. Yeah. When Billy Walters came back on the field, Billy played at 6 and Ben Hunt went into 9. Yeah. So that was, to me, a sign of the future. But they haven't pulled the trigger this weekend on Mam, and we've spoken about that. I think he would have been, when I'm picking a team, Dobbo, or I'm thinking about teams and who's in and who's out, my first thought goes, who would South rather not see playing? Would you? When
well-
Wayne Bennett looks at that team and Ezra's not in it, what do you think Wayne's saying? I think
He's
think
happy.
That. I
Yeah.
think that. If I'm an opposition
Yeah,
player,
I agree with that.
if I'm an opposition player, that's what you look at. Who's playing where? Who's got what? And he's not in the 17. I'm not saying start him. I would have started him.
Yeah.
But even if he's in the team, you still think, oh, Ezra's there. How are they going to use him? Jeez, that just starts putting triggers in the opposition's mind. Because Ezra's a good little player, mate.
Bloody oath he is.
And if you need reminding of that, go back to the 23 grand final. I keep saying it.
Have a look.
Just put the second half on, go to about 10 minutes in, hit play, and then you'll get a vision of what Ezra Mam can do. And you know
Only watch it to the 30-minute mark. Then stop.
Yeah, then cut it.
Cut it
Yeah.
off. Don't just watch
Yeah,
from
blow
the
it
10
up
to the
after
30
that.
minute. Don't watch anymore.
Yeah, but I think the Broncos will bounce back. There's a lot of noise around them. They normally respond to the noise, and I'm expecting that from them, this weekend.
Bulldogs take. Yeah, this game is huge. GIO Stadium. Spoke to Rick this morning. Spoke to Rick.
He'd be happy.
Yeah, he was all right. I asked him.
He's never happy.
I asked Ricky. This is dead set. What I asked him. Would he be open to letting Zach Hoskins leave?
Where's that going?
No, well, I just asked him, and he just started laughing and said, "Go away." They're a premiership heavyweight. They'll beat the Dogs. I mean, what are they doing? What are they doing? Challenging, like Jacob Preston. What is the Bulldogs doing? Challenging?
Yeah, I think that was just a.
He got done with grade 1. He had loading, so it was 3 weeks straight up. Take the early plea. He challenges it. He's got 4 weeks, and they got the bye. You won't see him for 5 weeks. So Origin 1 is gone. They're out. Satili Tupanua for that brain snap 2 weeks ago when he just lost his marbles up here at Suncorp.
Yeah.
He's out. You've also got Josh Curran who's out, and you've also now got Preston out. Come on.
Yeah.
They're playing on a Canberra side, best pack in the comp.
So many times I've seen players, not so much players, coaches or administration staff influence and say, mate, this is not a penalty that you should receive. We'll get you off this. Peter Ryan comes to mind. 98. He missed the grand final, Peter Ryan, because he...
Shouldn't have challenged it.
He challenged it, his suspension. And they gave him, I think they doubled him in those days. So you've got to be very careful and you've got to be very smart when
Who are
you're
you
challenging.
tipping?
Right. Obviously, I'll go the Raiders. But, right, the question mark over the Raiders, well, not the question mark, they need to start better.
Oh, their starts have been any good.
They can't keep doing that and expect
No.
to keep winning,
No.
right?
They've done it 3 weeks in a row.
Ricky, yep, you 18-4 against the Dolphins. They were behind, right, 2 weeks ago. And last week against the Storm, 14-0 against the Storm.
16-2 against the Titans, and they came back.
Right, there's
So
another one.
yeah.
So stop doing it, Ricky's Raiders, or your pants are going to come down
Big time.
very quickly. But they are good.
They'll beat the Dogs.
Good to watch the Raiders as well. Good, tough physical side. Burton's back, so that's a positive, for the Dogs. But they need to start throwing a bit of punch, the Dogs.
Yeah.
The Broncos beat them quite convincingly last Thursday week. They got stuck into them in the middle forwards.
They're not going to lose a lot of Origin.
No.
This is the thing. They'll lose
Preston,
Horsburgh.
he's out for a week now.
but you think about Canberra with
Well,
their
they won't lose
draw.
too many.
They'll lose Horsburgh.
Young.
They'll lose Young.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
Papa, I think, he's retired.
He's retired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
And
don't think
Tarpany's
Tarpany's a Kiwi.
Kiwi.
So, I mean, I think...
and they
I
got
think-
2 Englishmen in their pack as well, so they're there forever,
Yeah,
mate.
and mate, Hoskins will just slip straight back in, mate. They
Back
got
row.
unbelievable. So they're going along nicely.
Yeah.
Okay, Wars versus Dragons. I think the Wars win this one. The Dragons can't be
Couple of
trusted.
big names back for the Wars.
Yeah, who? Dallin's back and Roger
Roger,
both back. Dallin Martini-Zelezniak and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck both back in.
straight back in. That's pretty good going. They're two very experienced players.
They're going better, aren't they? The
Sheck's
Wars.
named 22. I'm not sure whether
Oh,
they're going
well-
really good, Dobbo. They silenced the critics with their away form because they couldn't win away from New Zealand. Which
You said that.
They showed, at Suncorp what a team, that fan base they had there. That was magic, wasn't it?
Cool.
That was unbelievable. That was we had Sean Johnson on the coverage at Fox.
He didn't want to go near them.
No,
they were off their rocker,
yeah.
mate. Seriously.
Mate, they were heavily involved in the game. The cheering and the chanting for their team was amazing.
Like the
stuff.
bloke who gets face painted who looks like the Joker.
The Joker.
Mate, seriously.
Did you meet him?
Oh, mate, he came up to me. I was walking. As luck would have it, I got on the wrong side of the stadium because I was over at the Bundy bar, just visiting a friend over there.
Did you visit for very long?
Yeah, I did. And then so I walked around to the Great Northern deck. So you had to go past that northern end that was the Warriors Bay.
Yeah.
Well, just before that game started, they had the drums and they'd been up at the Lord Alfred and they were...
Oh, they marched down from the
Lord Alfred. Marched down from Lord Alfred. So then I came, well, you wouldn't trust him with your cat. He was he was a scary looking dude. But anyway, they
goes to all their games.
Yeah, mate, he was wonderful and well done to him. They'll beat St George.
They will beat St George. This young kid from the Dragons, a young half, is it Lycan King Tongia?
Yeah.
I
saw him. I called him last year. He's quite a good footballer.
Well, what about his stats from the weekend? 12 runs for 90 metres for a halfback. That's sensational. 1 line break, 2 line break assists, and 2 try assists. In his first start, is it his first or second?
No, second start.
Second start.
I got him last year.
So no wonder Flanagan's like...
Well, he's better than Ilias at the moment.
At the moment. But that kid will bounce back. But that was pretty impressive. So if he continues along that sort of form, the Dragons give themselves every chance to win. But I can't go past the Warriors.
Waz win that. Okay, I think the Penrith Panthers beat the Cowboys. Cotter's out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a big hole, Cotter.
They were back. They get To'o back into the side as well.
They're another one that are starting slow, aren't they? They're just giving away too much margin before they kick into gear. That game's up in North Queensland, so that's a big bonus for the Cows. And Penrith, that's 2 away trips in a row. Wonder...
They went straight to North Queensland.
Did they? A lot of teams are doing that now, so that makes sense. Can they win back-to-back wins for the first time this year?
I think they can. I think
amazing.
they've turned a corner.
The 4-time premiers, and we're 10 weeks in, haven't won back-to-back. That's amazing. And you saw them on the weekend. That performance from Cleary. That was
Mate, I can't get over that. I called Garner to that Jenkins, Thomas Jenkins, and Luke Garner. The centre wing.
Yeah.
Mate, they were just unbelievable. Yeah. Awesome.
To'o's back this week, isn't he? And Mitch Kenny as well.
Mitch Kenny as well.
2 big ins.
They're in. Okay.
I think the Cowboys might be in a bit of trouble up there.
Yeah, so do I. Storm take on the West Tigers. And look, this is a Sunday game. What do you think of this one? I think Amy Park. I think the Storm win it.
Well, 2 things on the Storm. Very inconsistent, their defence. Craig Bellamy was not happy after the game.
He wasn't happy.
He and rightly so. They threw that game away with a couple of silly penalties and incidents that could have been avoided.
Nelson's named in the 22 again.
Yeah, he's a big one. If he can play, I'm not sure if he'll be playing, but they're just been inconsistent, the Storm.
Yeah. Who are you going to tip, though? You're not going to tip the West Tigers.
I'm not going to tip against them. The Tigers, we'll find out where they're actually at.
We had 5 wins.
Right, they beat the Dragons at Magic weekend. The Dragons, they're not going that great. Their form's been up and down. So this will be a good judge for them on where they're at. The Storm will win this one. We're going to find out how much the Tigers have actually improved. They're nearly full strength.
Yep.
The Tigers. And
what about Manly and the Sharks last
Manly
game?
to win there.
Yeah, I
Sharps
agree.
back.
Jakey Cheese back.
Back. 4 Point Stadium. They're hard to beat, their Manly, but there's one team that's got the wood on them
Sharkies.
At that venue. It's the Sharks over the last 4 or 5 years. But I just think that Manly off the bye, I think they'll be fresh, ready to go, ready for a kill against the Sharks.
If you get a chance, go and have a listen to the great Tony Carroll, the Tons of Carroll interview that we talked about yesterday. We had him yesterday. He was, and we dropped it yesterday. He unbelievable, wasn't he? And make sure you follow us on Inside Ball. And obviously all streams, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We'll give it there.
I love the TC story about when the ribs are open. You just got to go up and
everybody I've spoken to about it since, he was unbelievable. Way funnier than I thought.
How crazy is he? His
MAD.
favourite player to tackle was Willie Mason.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, no, he's nuts.
What do you think?
He's nuts, and everything he said, unfortunately, was true. He just loved it. Now,
do you want to take the time to go through what we've selected this week for our?
Yes, I do, because last week you were rotten. I'm just going to say you got 1 right.
1.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, just turn it off.
Let's go.
Let's go here, righto. We're all backing the Queensland teams again, of course, in some way.
Of course we are.
So I've got 3 try scorers, and I'm tipping the Dolphins to upset Parramatta.
Right, okay.
Down there
Okay.
on Thursday night to kick the weekend off. Let's go,
So
the
that starts
Dolphins.
tonight.
Let's go, the Finns. Finns are up. Let's go.
Fins tonight
Right.
into,
Khan Pereira, try scorer,
yeah.
Titans. Into Jesse Arthur's try scorer. And Jesse's
Yeah, he's
scored
good.
a
He
lot
can
of
find the
tries.
line.
Into Tom Dearden, try scorer for the Cowboys against Penrith. Tommy Dearden, show and go, close to Origin. There it is. There's the winner. That's the first winner in 10 weeks. There it is, Dobbo.
Okay.
Keep the faith, people.
Okay, believe he's gone Fins into Camperera, Lofty Camperera, into Jesse Arthurs.
Anytime try scorer.
Into Tom Dearden.
Anytime try scorer.
I like that. Okay. This week's been a bit of a low-key week for you, cooking-wise.
No, I haven't had time
no.
to. I've been too busy with work commitments.
Right,
Right.
okay.
And holiday on Monday.
Yeah.
No one works on Labor Day except you and me.
Yeah, we worked.
We worked.
Darcy didn't. We've got Darcy back finally, which
Yeah,
will be good.
But these Origin
Now,
tickets,
okay, so
I love them.
Yeah, so
And the car wash is still on too.
okay, talk about the car wash. It's to their Hoppies Express, isn't it?
Only the express washes, right?
So
you know where
only
they are.
expresses. We've talked about them before. If you say you listen to Inside Bull, you can get a freebie.
And just wait. They're giving away. They're going to draw out of a hat 4 tickets for a Broncos game in the next month or so coming up. So if you go to Hoppies, mention the Inside Ball podcast, give them your name. They'll get your Rego going through. We're going to pull some names out, and you'll be off to a Broncos game anytime soon.
I love that. Appreciate you, Kev. Women in league round, big
so
round.
we're back on. We're good now, you and me, after the
Not
weekend?
yet, no. But we'll work it through it. You go off to Fox. I'm still a little sad by it. You're working for Fox all weekend?
Yes, Mother's Day as well. Happy Mother's Day on Sunday, isn't it?
Yep, yeah. I'll be on Triple M. You can hear us as well. We'll be back Monday. And also, we've got a huge guest next week as well for you. But go and have a listen to the great Tons of Carol, MAD. That's all I'm going to say.
Loves popping ribs, that boy.
Breaking ribs. We'll see you next week.